Just the threat of Auntie Deirdre coming round to smack me appalled me. The thought of having my bottom smacked by a woman who wasn't my mother was mortifying. I thought about it a lot. Would Auntie Deirdre use the belt she said my father should employ? As I say, I was well behaved for a long time. But such was the nature of me at that time that they can't be good for too long. I forget exactly what I had done naughty, but one afternoon, soon after I got home from school, Mother exploded on me and said, "Right, I'm ringing Auntie Deirdre." I begged her not to, but she was having none of it. She scooted her wheelchair over to the telephone and made the call. It was a relatively short one. "Right, young man, sit on the sofa, and we'll wait for Auntie Deirdre to come." I sat there, misery personified. I remember listening to the lounge clock ticking for what seemed like hours, but of course, it was only a few minutes. Before too long, we heard the back door open. This was in the days when doors were rarely locked, except at night, and Auntie Deirdre calling out, "We're in the lounge." Mother shouted back. Our neighbor came through the door. In her right hand was a wooden hairbrush. She sat down on the sofa next to me. "Well, Simon, what have you been up to?" she asked. Before I could open my mouth, it became clear that this was a question not really aimed at me, as Mother described my misbehavior, adding to the list one or two little sins I thought had been ignored or forgotten. "Well, Auntie Deirdre," now looking me right in the eye, "it sounds to me like somebody needs his bottom smacked." My mouth opened in protest, but no words would come. "Yes, he does," Mother confirmed behind me to my horror. The room was a combined lounge diner. Auntie Deirdre got up, took a chair from under the dining table, and placed it in the center of the room, facing Mum's wheelchair. Auntie Deirdre sat down on it, put the hairbrush down on her lap, and called me to her side, which I did very reluctantly. "A good smacked bottom," Auntie Deirdre said, looking me straight in the eye again. "This is what naughty boys need, isn't it?" That was another one that didn't need an answer from me. She picked up the hairbrush. "Lie over my knee." I did as I was told, being familiar with the position from my father's spankings. Auntie Deirdre pulled my shirt back a bit to expose my bottom properly, and put an arm around my waist. It was a grip of iron, and I was about to discover why it was necessary. The smacked bottom with the hairbrush that followed was the worst smacking I had ever had in my young life. Mother's own hand smackings had been quite sharp and definitely to be avoided, especially compared with father's fairly innocuous spankings, but this was in a different league. She aimed most of the strokes hard and low, I guess so that I would really feel the chastisement for a while when I sat down, which I certainly did. I was finally let up, a blubbering wreck. Auntie Deirdre took me by the hand and steered me over to an empty corner of the room. I was ordered to put my hands on my head, and was left there, crying and newly smacked bare bottom on show. When father got home, Mother delighted in regaling him with all the intimate details of my punishment. To say that the results on my behavior were spectacular would be an understatement. Even father stopped smacking me when he saw how much better the results were when I was turned over Auntie Deirdre's knee.